Welcome to episode 295 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. This is going to be the best episode ever. We have a ton of Yikes of the Weeks to get to. You would think that we took time off, but no. It's just been a busy week for Yikes. A little bit of JBL Valorant to get to for the Quantum Cup that wrapped up. We might have a definitive number one in NA, also known as the World, and a packed e-news as well to get to. But before we get to that, let me tell you about the show sponsor, as in Alt Esports, ultesports.com. Go and check it out. Do yourself a favor. Just announced brand new lineup with Sentinels. Check it out. Very, very clean looking merch there. Also starting tomorrow, December 15th. So by the time you're listening to this right now, they are doing the Alt Days of Christmas, 10 days of 10 badass deals. Only altesports.com will have them, though. Pick yourself up a limited edition black 90s hoodie for the Overwatch League. Pick yourself up TCR 101 Burglars hoodie. Supplies are limited, going fast. You can still get it in time for Christmas. altesports.com. Check it out. Tell them the TCR boys sent you.
This is Sinatra, and you are listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. This is episode 295. 5 away from 300. Boy, I'm sure we have a surprise for you lined up. It is coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, December 14th, 2020. The time is 10:17 p.m. Boy, we are late. Sometimes children don't care what time you have to start the number one esports podcast, though. So sometimes you have to start a little late. Sometimes if you just listen to your wife the first time around when she said, hey, you should probably feed him before you put him to bed, and you go, not a big deal, I got a podcast too. Sometimes you just save time and should have fed him. But hey, they never say dads know best, right, Anuj? Mothers know best.
Always.
For a reason. For a reason. I don't know if you saw. Right when I started the podcast, I suffered an injury. Did you see my face?
Little funny bone action there, it looked like.
I slammed my funny bone on my mic stand. Never happened. I must be sitting more to the left than normal. Like, I don't know what I was just, let me move my elbow back and bam!
Something worse just happened to me.
Uh-oh.
Starting the show, we were just talking about patch notes for WoW. Tim and I are always talking about WoW now. That's all it feels like we're talking about.
All the time.
I just told Tim, hey bud, your character, your marksman hunter that you got there, is taking a bit of a nerf, right? And that was devastating, but we talked about it. It didn't seem too bad. I scrolled down, I just saw that rogues were getting hardcore nerfed coming up in this coming update on Tuesday. Didn't see that before, so heart dropped a little bit right before we started the show. It's a little devastating.
And you've been waiting for that too.
I knew it was coming.
It's like every time we get on, you're like, man, I'm just waiting for it. I'm waiting. It's like, I know it's going to happen, and now here it is.
I just changed my covenant, and that covenant now is getting nerfed hard too.
All damage No. You're getting increased though.
No. Not sub.
Assassination increased by 5%.
Assassination sucks right now.
Oh.
They're taking it. I'm playing sub. Sub is the one that's getting hit hard.
Well, where's sub on here then? I don't see sub on these notes.
Yeah, it's on the new notes.
Oh. Sorry.
December 14th hotfixes. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Anyway, sorry guys. Didn't want to. Any of you rogue players out there, rest in peace. It's gonna hurt a little bit tomorrow.
If only we were paladins and nothing would happen to us.
Go God mode.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm surprised Blizzard isn't buffing paladins. Like, you know what? Oh, we see them almost like one paladin died today. That's not supposed to happen. That's not by design. We need to fix that. So, alas, what can we do? We're just lonely DPS players in WoW. It's the life we chose, though. And I've always been. I mean, apart from Mist of Pandaria, where I did play paladin, I was a tank. Only time I actually was a tank in any like raids or anything. Since then, I've been DPS, and like it's weird that WoW hates. Not to go on a tangent of WoW, of course, but it's like Blizzard. We have one role, one. That's all we got. Like, if a paladin sucks at damage, he can go tank or heal. If they suck at healing, they can go tank or DPS. We don't have options here.
Like, all three of ours suck. Kind of
yeah, like
I don't think rogues will suck. We're just
let us be good at what
gonna
we're
mix
supposed
it
to
up.
be
We'll
good
see
at.
what happens.
Yeah,
Well,
I liked my
devastating, though.
brain dead hunter, where all I had to do was wait for the procs to hit, and I'm top of the DPS charts. I liked that. I don't want to think, but alas, it is what it is. All right, so we do have a big yikes of the week to get to. Before that, in case you're just not following us on Twitter at the Center Ring, go ahead and do that, by the way. But for the next couple of shows, including this one that was delayed, recording on a Monday, I think next week is on a Monday, and then you get hit Christmas and all that, so it's all kind of in the wax with the Timmies and everything in between. We are moving Sunday's recording to Mondays, so no Monday shows, but Tuesday shows. Still doing them. It's just real life scheduling is getting in the way, so we're doing it then. So, just a heads up. Heads up, in case you're wondering. All right, so let's get into some of the yikes of the week here, Nuge, because we do have a handful to get to. I'll start, because mine was last week, and I saved it for this week. Now, I want to preface this, which I know Halo is going to be the greatest game of all time. I know it. It's just no doubt Halo Infinite will change what we know of video games.
Just like Cyberpunk.
Just like Cyberpunk. I don't now I'm not a game developer, Anuj. I'm not a game developer, never claimed to be a game developer. I'm not going to pretend I know what goes into making a video game. But how do we go from launch title for the new Xbox, which just released? How do we go from a launch title to then being announced like a month prior to being delayed because you revealed what your game looked like and everyone was like, this looks like ass, to now you are delaying it till fall of next year? How do we go from launch title to a year delay?
And to be fair, I wouldn't say the trailer looked like ass. There was parts of it that people didn't like, and
The
there was parts of it
graphics,
that said,
yes.
like, oh, it looks very traditional Halo, which I don't know what people were expecting, but maybe some people thought they would maybe mix it up for the next generation of, whatever Halo would turn into. But dude, a 1-year delay. That's a long time. Like,
I
that is a
know.
long time for people that have
They
been.
did say that, hey, there's some big patches coming in. Like, we're doing a lot. So
It's unfortunate that we don't know, like, the roadmap in a sense of where we know exactly what they are changing, because I would love to see what are you scrapping right now, right? Like,
Right.
what did you take from that feedback, and now you're like, man, we have a lot of work to do. That's pretty concerning. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a delay to polish off the game. I would say this is a delay to change core mechanics of the game, and they know this is a 1-year delay. They're not even giving you a firm date, right? Fall could be December of next, they could be end of
Yeah.
next year, and
be
so
October, could be December. Like, it's pretty big.
yeah,
pretty
like it's
big
it's
gap.
still a wide window. So I would realistically think this becomes like a holiday release for them next year now.
Like,
That's
this
kind
is
of what
almost
makes sense.
Cyberpunk-esque when you're like, people are like, hey, man, don't worry, though. I don't want to rush it. A delayed game's better than a rushed game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But as we've learned with...
It's true technically, right? Like a
yes.
polished game
You're right.
is better than a buggy game, right? In
You're
that sense.
correct.
So
Correct.
depending on the type of game, a single player game, for example, and the Halo obviously has a big single player part of the game.
Of
Like a lot of
course.
people enjoy that part of it. Those need to be polished out, right? And they said they were done with really they were ready to launch the single player game. And remember, they were talking about just delaying multiplayer.
Right.
And this delay seems purely for the multiplayer, right? Like it just seems like that part of the game they did not feel like was going to be a wow factor. They didn't show any of that gameplay. They didn't dive into it. But on a single player aspect, that needs to be like completely. Everyone would say delay it until that's polished, but I don't think that's why this delay is here.
So it's safe to assume it takes 1 year to build a battle royale. That's what I'm gathering from this.
That is 100% on point.
It's
Or it
it's
takes
gonna,
a year to hope that maybe people forget about it.
right.
One
It
of the
takes a
two.
year to design a battle royale map. That's what we're getting at.
That's funny, dude. You might be onto something. That's joking, I know.
Got to
but
figure out what's going to be on that first season's battle pass.
seriously. Yeah, they're building out the seasons right now is what they're doing.
Yeah. How do we want to do this? How can we get
Look, at the end of the day, Tim, if the game is good, no one's gonna care, right? If they
No.
put out a good game, no one's gonna care. The problem becomes is if it comes out and multiplayer is lackluster, then you get shitted on twice as hard, right? Like, because then you're gonna get hated on for you delayed it for this versus, oh, okay, this is a polished good game, like this is what we expected, then no one's gonna care about the 1 year delay.
you want to blow my nuts off? Make multiplayer free.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the worst idea.
Like just say, "Hey,
It's hard to convince people that paying $60 though for the campaign is like a good idea. Like
maybe you
then
do ranked multiplayer is included if you paid for it."
yeah, or or you get like you get the season passes for the first 5 seasons or something like that.
But I
Yeah.
just think we're going into that direction, and after a year delay, maybe throw some people a bone here.
Maybe they do that with the battle royale, right? Make the BR free,
Yeah, something.
and the game and multiplayer are both part of the core game. Whatever they're doing, it better be good. This is 1 year. This is like we were supposed to be playing this game.
That's what I'm
right
saying. Like,
now,
I don't see
okay?
how we go from a confident. When they did their big reveal that they were just, unzipped their pants and whipped it out on the table, and they were like, Halo Infinite reveal. Because we even made fun of it on the show. I think it was in the Yikes of the Week where it was like, that was your reveal? That's your big reveal? That was like an E3 trailer, pretty much. Like, I got the same thing from E3. Like, everyone was like, that doesn't seem like a lot. And you were just like pumping your chest that, yep, gonna be an Xbox release title. And to be like, ooh, Xbox was coming out this fall? No, yeah, next fall. We're next fall.
I mean, it probably boosted Xbox's sales with the thought of a lot of people like this is coming out. I don't think
I
it
don't
would have
know.
swayed. They wouldn't have not bought it.
I was
either
gonna say, I
way,
think
but,
the
like,
thing is
the
like Xbox
excitement
players
level
are,
for a lot of people was probably that Halo is going to be out when I get this system.
Yeah.
Like that would be huge. I'm going to go ahead and just piggyback this next one, Tim, and change up our order here a little bit because it seems like it just makes so much sense to follow in
Please
line
do.
with this. And this is regarding Cyberpunk and the rough start that they had this past week. Really ties due to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, right? Like the old iterations of the consoles have performed terribly. IGN gave them a 4 rating because of how badly it performed on the older consoles. And then even on the next gen, right? Even on the next gen and on the PC, there's like a lot of bugs, right? And so this is where we talk about that delay factor of, okay, you're a single player game. That's all you're giving us, right? Is we need to have like immersion, a fun playthrough. The fun playthrough part, I think, is happening, but the immersion is being consistently broken. And that really sucks in one of those games, right? Like, I'm happy I'm not a day one buyer right
Yeah.
now looking at what's going on with Cyberpunk because I know this will be patched. I know it'll be fixed. And then I'm going to jump in and I feel like get a pretty clean experience. But for a launch day title and the hype that was built up behind this, like that's got to be a big yikes to see reviews coming back, refunds being issued, like all of that going on right now.
There are 2 types of people in this world, Anuj. Those who buy single player games on day one, and those who wait for them to go on discounted during a Steam sale. I am of the latter. I can't tell you the last single player game that I bought day one. Maybe like when Deus Ex came out with like their newest one many years ago, right? Their newest generation of style game,
Wait,
whatever.
What game?
Deus Ex?
The hell's that?
You never played it?
No.
It's fun. Kind of like a cyberpunk-esque. It's been around forever. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe it's a single player game, so I've literally never had to talk about it with anyone, but
Deuce X? Is it Deuce? I think it's Deuce.
is that how you Deuce? I mean, I know that's it could
don't
be
know.
Deuce Ex. I don't know, bro. It's a single player game. I don't have to talk about this.
I'm gonna buy
Cole,
Cyberpunk.
Cold is saying in chat that I said it correctly. Deus Ex.
Maybe you did. I was just asking. I've never heard of the
So
game.
why don't you
before.
back
I'm like,
off, Anuj?
maybe he's wrong too, dude. What made him John all of a
I
sudden?
said, right?
How is he right automatically?
The listeners are always right. The listeners are always right. I don't know. That's probably the last, but that's been forever since that game came out. I don't buy single player games hardly ever, and especially day one. Thankfully, the WoW expansion pack saved me from this one. I'll get Cyberpunk eventually, but you know,
You watch any gameplay so far?
a little bit. You know, it's like you said. I think one of those games are more of the immersion type, and if I'm watching someone play it, it looks extremely boring. You know, like much like The Witcher. The Witcher, I think, is an awesome game, but if you're watching someone play The Witcher, you're like, oh.
I wish I was playing instead.
Like there is nothing going on. So
Yeah.
I feel bad because I know a lot of people, like I had friends who took the day off of work to play Cyberpunk, and then for it to either still run like ass on the PC, it looks good, but runs like ass, or on the PS4 where it just all sucks, right? It looks bad and it plays like ass.
Dude, it looks terrible. Some of these screenshots I've seen, like I can't tell if like they plugged it in with wrong cables or
Yeah.
does this really look
Like at first I
this?
thought the longest time was just it looks honestly like a GTA Vice City mod. Like at first I thought like they modded it for the PlayStation or something, like the PS2, and then all of a sudden they were like, no, this is actually what it looks like. It's
You
just
see the
taking
Keanu Reeves screenshots. Did you see some of those?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's like
It looks bad.
yeah.
It looks
so
I
bad.
mean, it's so bad that CD Projekt Red, the company behind it, apologized and said, hey, if you want to refund it, you can refund it. Like, you know, that's how when you know it's a yikes.
That's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, when they're not even like just staying quiet, when they're like, ooh, that's our bad,
Like,
guys.
We done messed up here.
We kind of
It's a yikes for the whole. I mean, that's got to be pretty devastating for the company in general.
Yeah.
It's cool. They are paying the bonuses out to all the people because the way those bonuses worked is this is kind of shitty. They had to score a 90 on the Metacritic score or whatever. And because they're obviously not going to score that, they said they're going to pay out the bonuses to all their employees. So that was a cool move on their part to take care of them.
At least they could do after all the stories of like working them to the bone, right? All the labor
you
laws.
See why they were putting them to work. They obviously knew they had a lot to go there. Now you'll have to wait for a patch, you know, to get the experience you probably really wanted.
Also, another yikes here for you. We said it's a busy yikes. Busy yikes. Another yikes of the week for you. Rowdy Rogan, Anuj. Let me pump the brakes on this one, okay? I have to preface this here, okay? Because when I tried explaining this to my wife, she was like, are you guys seriously going to talk about a 6-year-old and make fun of him? The answer to that is yes. Yes, 2 30-plus-year-olds are about to make fun of a 6-year-old child. I want to get that off my chest and say I'm aware of it, okay? I'm not happy about it. It's gonna happen.
I don't feel bad either.
No, I mean,
like the parents are the idiots here.
It's just, yeah, I'm about to make fun of a 6-year-old. So what? I probably said worse to younger on Valorant or something. So Rowdy Rogan, who was competing in the FaZe Recruit Challenge, that was it, FaZe 5, I think is the hashtag that you might recognize on Twitter. This was started out where anyone could pretty much sign up and go through these different types of challenges and competitions, and eventually, I guess, sign a contract with FaZe to become a FaZe member. Okay, that's the end goal here. Anyways, so he was competing in the FaZe Recruit Challenge and was banned, live streaming with his dad in the background. The key there is because people are like, well, how can he play Warzone? He's only 6 years old. Well, parents consent. He's sitting in the background. That's also why he can stream and things like that. So that was going to be a yikes of the week, right? The fact that you're going to ban a 6-year-old. Rules are rules, I get it, but damn. Banned a 6-year-old. Like, that's cold-blooded.
That's tough. That's tough.
Like, imagine being the guy at Activision where he's like, really? You want me to ban a 6-year-old live on stream? Like, okay. I guess
Like,
I'll...
Don't ban the cheaters in his lobby.
Right.
Get this son of a bitch out of here right now.
And Twitch is like, hey, you know that girl who shoved vodka down her animal's throat? She's good. But let's get this 6-year-old kid.
Tim, that's hate speech now.
He's the menace. Oh, okay. All right. It's only hate speech if you're white knighting. I'm not backing down from that one. People thought the ban was due to his age. Of course, like we just said, no. Much like everything on the internet, you can't trust a damn thing because he was not banned at all, Anuj. Turns out it was all a hoax for gaining attention from, like, I guess, to part of the FaZe challenge was to make something go viral. And so his parents can't, and I say his parents because there's no way a 6-year-old came up with this, or maybe he did. I don't know. It's just the world we live in, right? Us at 6 years old is much different than a 6-year-old now, I'd have to imagine, with what you know of social media and things like that. But their idea was to fake this whole thing. He never got banned at all. It was all fake. And it obviously has come out with it now that he's a phony. So this poor 6-year-old now is pretty much labeled for life as being the 6-year-old that faked being banned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the general public will really care too long about it.
I will
honestly.
remind him every day.
I think it's just like, because they said they were doing it because it worked for Jarvis, right? The other FaZe member who was banned playing Fortnite. It was
That was completely real.
His return and all that nonsense, and then that was fake. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I mean, I don't. Anyways, I'm not even gonna go there. But in general, I think this was just a classless move, right? And it's tough to say that about a 6-year-old. Like, it's really tough. I get it. They don't know right and wrong. Like, there's a reason they can't be prosecuted. Like, there's so much to this because they're so young. So this is more of an indictment
classless
on the parents for, like, hey, if you're trying to go viral, like, lying and misleading for views is like, okay, it happens all the time. He's one of a billion people that do this, unfortunately.
And from bigger orgs. Well, I say bigger orgs. FaZe is pretty huge, right? Doesn't get much bigger. But from big orgs, right? It's not just like he's a recruiter guy, so he wants to become popular, so of course he's going to do it. No, listen, all those dumbass reaction videos that I see posted all the time by people, none of them are real. No. Let me peel back the curtain there, okay? Everything Courage does in his life isn't that exciting, okay? but if you look at him, you would think everything he does is the most exciting thing that he did that moment.
It's like his casting, right? Like, he's a hype guy, right? So he's going to get you pumped for that type of content. Like, that's just, it works for him. Obviously, it works way better than anything we're doing, you know?
Courage is the human form of a golden retriever. He's just always excited and loves everything.
That's a good way of putting it. It's kind of a compliment.
That's the nice way of saying it, right? He's just everything is always exciting.
Hey, but like anything else in life, Tim, FaZe up. They win this one because this kid's now going to become a member, and this is a good win for him. Like, he went viral.
Well, and he'll fit in
for sure,
right? He'll fit in. Everyone knows the F in FaZe stands for fraud.
Don't they already have another, like, 10-year-old? They can room them together.
They started their organization on fake money. They were frauds and running scams then. Like you said, the Jarvis thing from the get-go was his fake-ass crying video. That was all fake. This kid is fake. He'll fit right in with FaZe. I don't understand how anyone can consciously say that FaZe is, like, a good org. From any level. From their content creation to ownership. I don't get it. How anyone could say with a straight face. Now, if you want to come at me and say behind closed doors, yeah, because they make me a shit ton of money from investments, then I'm like, hey, more power to you. I totally get that. I am not above selling my soul for a paycheck either. But to be like, no, man, they're just great guys. They're so good. FaZe Banks is so authentic. No. He's another
He's
phony.
authentic. He's just like kind of an
He's
ass.
authentically fake.
Yeah.
He's authentically fake. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
Their Manchester stuff, though. Have you seen their Manchester City stuff that they just launched?
No.
Pretty sick.
I'm
If you're
sure
a
it
soccer
is.
fan
Oh,
out there,
I
you know what? I wish I was a FaZe fan because their merch is pretty cool. Right? Like, I wish I wanted to wear like FaZe stuff, but I don't, unfortunately.
I've
But
always said that they make esports cool. Like even better than Optic.
no, FaZe does it right on the merch game.
Yeah.
The merch game's fire. Yeah. Like they're like they know. I mean, hey, look, we say it every time. After we bash them, they're winning.
Yeah.
You know, like they're winning. They're doing it right. They're not doing it the right way, but they're doing it right. You know, like they're making massive deals.
They're going to hell, but before that, they're gonna live a pretty kick-ass life.
Yeah, they're having fun over there in the FaZe house.
That's how I see it. You're gonna go to hell if you're in FaZe Clan, no doubt. But before you get there, you are gonna have fun. So there's that. So however you want to look at it, right?
Trade off. Hey, we are open to offers though.
Okay. Oh, again, phase up all day.
Yeah.
Phase
All
up.
day.
I mean, all day. Clip that part of this. Phase up. Huge FaZe clans.
That's our content creation right there.
Would love to sign with you. Phase up.
We would fit right in.
I just got.
You just picture yourself walking into the house.
I did. The vision in my head was you and me, you being an Indian man, me being the whitest looking white guy in the world, as I'm wearing my sweater cardigan at the moment, walking into the FaZe house. You do have a gold chain on though.
It'd be terrible.
You at least have a necklace. I don't even have a necklace.
It's got my son's initial and his birthday on there, so I don't know if that would fit what
that's
they're
not
looking
hardcore.
for.
That is
not too hardcore.
Do you even have any diamonds on it?
I can put a couple of fakes on there if I need to.
I would.
God.
You want to talk about
a great episode of anything?
I was gonna say, FaZe, you want content? You get us to go into your house and just put a camera on us for a day to see our reaction if I have to shit we see there. It would be amazing.
It would be
pure content. All right, last yikes. Give it to us, Anuj.
Okay, you know what? So this is. I'm not bashing.
We've already made fun of We've already made fun of a 6-year-old. Okay, so just do this one.
So Freakazoid, we love him on the show. He's streaming here the other day.
Yeah, Freakazoid, for those who don't know, because new esports fans might not know.
That is true.
Former Counter-Strike pro, current Valorant free agent, also good dude that we met at DreamHack Austin 2016.
Yeah. Also part of that big bowling thing. Do you remember all that with him?
Yes,
maybe some people would remember that. I don't know. Depends on what you like, right? If you like the entertainment side, maybe that comes up for you. But
he had to take anti-bullying lessons because he bullied someone too hard.
Like a big meme in the scene.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's Freakazoid. So, anyways, he just was recently streaming, had to abruptly end the stream. People didn't know what happened. You know, obviously, you kind of hoping nothing bad when you see somebody shut off their stream midstream there. His wife had a seizure, and I'm going to say it now. She's doing well. She's like in good condition. She's taken care of. I don't know if she's at home, but we know that she's doing well. How do I know she's doing well, Tim? Not off of his initial tweet. This is where the yikes comes in, boys and girls. He thanked people for tuning into his stream, mentioned he was going to the hospital, and then also thanked Ninja for the host. And that was kind of like the main part. And I want to read it to you so you get an idea of how this sounds.
It's just because it's the gear shift that happened, like just the change of gears in the tweet.
Like it's just beautiful. Sorry for abruptly ending the stream. My wife had a seizure, but I just wanted to say thanks to everyone for the continued support. It's legit been insane. He's talking about the support for his stream. Also, massive shout out to Ninja for the host. Thank you, man. Let's game sometime. It was just beautiful in how he came out because it changed pace so quick from my wife had a seizure and it probably should have ended there and people would have understood. But to go on and thank Ninja for the host, which is a badass host to get. So I
Of
understand that you're
course.
thankful and appreciative. They should have been two separate tweets. Freak, as a married man for several years now, let's
He's
separate
going to
those
hear
tweets
about that one.
at a time. Yeah. Like, don't make it a tweet on your tweet to say she's doing fine. It's a condition we're working through at the moment. We appreciate the well wishes. That probably should have been the headline tweet. So just funny on
Yeah,
how
that's
that
the
came
follow
off.
up. It's like, yeah, man, hey, sorry about ending the stream. My wife had a seizure. But, bro, Ninja, thank you for the fat host. Let's go. By the way, wife is doing fine. It's a condition. We're working on it. I like how, too, it's a condition we are working through at the moment. Well, way to make your wife feel like shit. Like, it's a condition. We're working on it. Something she just needs to get over, okay? All right, we're working through it. But Ninja, hey, if you ever want a game, you hit me up and we put a pause on that working through it, okay?
I've got some time recently. My
Yeah.
wife's not like
Yeah, my
out of the
wife
picture at the moment.
in the hospital. You let me know, I'm home. I'm home in 5, okay? I got her hooked up to Life Alert. I'm good to go. I can leave
All
her
she's got to
alone.
do is press the button. I can be there in 20.
Like, what a weird ass, like... Also, massive shout out to Ninja. Thanks for the host. Let's game sometime. In the same announcement that your wife had a seizure tweet. Terrible. Just terrible.
It's rough, rough.
Awesome. Awesome. I actually have one more yikes for you, Anuj. The Game Awards were this past weekend, or day, or last week sometime. I didn't watch them. I only care about one game award show, and that's the Timmy's, the Centering Esports Award Show, which is, believe it or not, next week. So, Anuj, I think you and I have some work to do this week, as we've been saying
do.
that we need to get on that. Well, I think we work best under pressure, though.
We do. That's how we really operate around here.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. That's next week. But the Game
We'll get to
Award
it
show
on
happened.
Tuesday.
And so who else but to be at the Game Awards other than Stephen A. Smith? Also, just put this on file for one of the most awkward things, again, when ESPN just abandoned all things esports. Now one of their guys is at the Game Awards show to tell you to support esports. I felt like ESPN did this backwards here. Like, they announced that they're abandoning esports, but then they also then announced that they're partnering with Riot for Brazil, and now Stephen A. Smith is here, and it's just kind of like...
Maybe Stephen A is going to be like the host of the next esports show.
Kill me. Kill me. If we get to 300 episodes on this podcast, and then somehow that guy gets an esports show, but that's how this works, right? That's how esports works. It'll probably be with Hex or something too. We'll probably sign with Hex. Anyways, I have some audio for you here of Stephen A. at the Game Award show. Let me see if this works here. I'm going to try this one more time.
To announce the winner of Best Esports Athlete, here's the host of ESPN's First Take and the new ESPN Plus show, Stephen A's World, Stephen A. Smith.
I know what y'all are thinking. Did they just bring Stephen A. Smith to the Game Awards and legitimize esports as something equal to athletic sports? Nah, that's not the point. They're doing their thing. When every major sports league in the nation shut down, esports just kept on going. With that being said, I'll say this much. All of the esports athletes nominated are without question more determined, more tenacious, and definitely win more than anybody on the Dallas Cowboys.
To announce
I'm sorry, buddy.
It's a little rough. I heard this already, and it was quite disappointing.
Even
You know what? He takes shots at us all the time, though. I'm so used to it, and I can honestly care less because I know he's a Cowboys hater.
I just like that even in the middle of a Game Awards show, Talking
still
about
gotta hear it.
esports, Cowboys fans cannot just get away from the fact that they just suck.
We beat the Bengals, my friend, 30 to 13 this week. So,
That is true. Can't take that away
and
from
we
me.
still have a 4% chance of making. Hey, you know what? Why am I even telling you this? You're a Lions fan. It doesn't matter. You go through this shit every year.
Refs
At
also.
least this year, hey, you know what? Misery is better in company. So
That's right. That's right. I just thought that was very funny. Also, there is no way Stephen A supports esports. None, not a chance in hell. He might support the money he can get from it, but
but he doesn't give a damn about
There
that. He doesn't have to, right? Like,
no, of
one's
course,
saying,
I'm not saying it, but
But yeah, in general, he does not give a shit about esports.
it's the first time he had to think of that. So, yeah, Prong Attack says maybe we can get Skip Bayless too. Take it from a guy who used to work at the same radio station as Skip Bayless, and now Skip just completely ignores the fact that he's ever worked at that radio station. I don't think Skip Bayless even knows what the word esports means, unless it's in a making fun of stance. But
Skip Bayless doesn't know much of anything.
that's also a fair point. Fair point. We don't want Skip Bayless. Let's say that. All right. Boy, isn't that though just wouldn't that be the kick in the nuts for esports if all these traditional sports guys all of a sudden just switched gears and talked esports and
They just start it and they just start talking esports as part of the
just
show.
normal stuff and it's just them reading the script though, and it makes it seem like they know what they're talking about.
That would be killer. Jacob Wolf is their Ghost Rider.
Oh man, that'd be terrible. Maybe that's what ESPN is doing. They abandoned their esports division because they view it as just a normal sport. Oh,
We're legit now.
maybe.
That's not it at all.
Finally legit.
That's not it at all.
All right, so let's talk some actual esports here then. The fun yikes of the week though. Lots of yikes of the week. Always fun to get to. If you have some yikes of the week, hit us up in our Discord. The link is in our description at Twitter at the Center Ring, and we'll always give it a shout out on the show as well. All right, so we did have what I think is the last Valorant event that you should care about of the year, which is the JBL Quantum Cup. This has, of course, the best teams in the world. Their words, not mine, including Time In, which is Ninja's team, for those who don't know. We did make fun of them now. Let's just say it now because I don't think we'll talk about them again. They did beat FaZe.
They did. And then FaZe goes on to make it to the finals. So what the hell does that tell you about this tournament? If you did not know who to put at the top prior to this event, like after First Strike, right? Because it raised a lot of questions, obviously, with 100 Thieves winning it, Sentinels not making it to the finals, all that good stuff, right? This tournament did not help. This tournament gave you almost zero clarity in terms of who's really number one. But yeah, for FaZe, I mean, I don't know. If you lose to a stream team, that's pretty rough, right? I get it. You made the finals. Those are games you don't want to lose, but you hate to be that one team that it happened to.
First off, let me play another piece of audio for you then, since you brought up the fact that they're a stream team. Golden Boy was a caster in this. Seemed like it was only 3 of them, so he casted a lot. So I'll give him some slack. There was he had a long weekend. Okay. Hot tea, I'm sure, was consumed quite a bit to keep those pipes fresh. Here is from the Time In versus FaZe Clan match in Group A. So this was the one time they played each other. Round 3. So this was before FaZe, I think, was up 2-0 at this point, right? So not a whole lot of excitement. Let me play this audio for you and just see how Golden Boy hypes you up for Time In.
Another quick round here for FaZe Clan, and but you do have players on this team with on Time In with quite a bit of history. Kurt had played previously for T1 Academy. I want to say Grego. I've casted him all across a variety of different games. Notably, I casted him in Shoot Mania many years ago. He'll hate me for mentioning that out loud. Then Morgassi, one of the first winners in Fortnite. He won the fall skirmish or spring skirmish. I don't remember which one it was a huge win for him. And then obviously Ninja, one of the most famous gamers in the world. So, and Danny is a relative unknown. I actually looked him up the other day, and he's really making a name for himself with these guys. And I think it's a good crowd to be playing games with. But speaking of good crowds, FaZe, they're just going to push in as a crowd and give time in. No room.
If you're watching on YouTube, I think the clips echo on YouTube for whatever reason, but on the podcast, they'll sound beautiful. Nonetheless, though, you did hear it. I mean, if that doesn't get you pumped up for time in.
I didn't... What, Shoe Mania?
Shoot Mania, I think is what he was saying.
Shoot Mania.
But okay. I just loved that, like, his selling point was like, oh, I've casted this guy before. And Ninja.
I know who he is. So.
Ninja, he streams. And, you know, Kurt, he has a pulse. So there's that. He plays Valorant, as I'm told.
And then you go to the other side of the coin here, right? And you have Corey, one of the best, you know, in Overwatch coming over. Marv, somebody that's played high-level competitive CS. Baby Bay, another top performer. Zachary, Ruckus, like all these big names from other games. And then he's like trying to compare them to...
He's just trying to... All he can, use all his hype to get in time in, try to get you excited. And, you know, hey, I guess...
I get it. Hey, you got to do it.
You got to do it. You got to.
Not,
I was watching that live, and I did chuckle when he... It's just like...
That would have been a good opportunity for a joke.
Yes.
You know, where he's like, could have said things that they're known for and maybe listed a pet's name or something like, because there wasn't much there. So yeah, that is, you know, this would have been a lot worse had they not made the finals. Like ultimately they made the finals, so you could say they kind of redeemed themselves in that sense. You know, what more do you need? You beat Gen G, who was on fire in the group stages, going 3-0, beating, you know, when you go 3-0 in a group stage, you got to look at who they beat, right? They took out Sentinels, they took out TSM, and they took out Cloud9, who obviously is now going through a roster change of their own. But that's a pretty stacked group right there for Gen G to come out 3-0. And remember, this is one of the teams that if you just watch the First Strike finals, you know, you don't know this team, right? Like Gen G and Cloud9, neither of them were in the finals there. And that was a pretty loaded group. So for FaZe to beat Gen G, you know, 2-0, that's a big win for them. And then, you know, kind of getting handed to them by Sentinels, but that's kind of been the norm in that matchup.
Yeah, and I think that's where, I mean, I think I would give the nod to Sentinels. Like how you were saying, it's like it didn't really answer that. They did beat 100 Thieves in the semis 2-1. Like you had that rematch from First Strike. So I would say at this point, Sentinels would be number one. Looking back, I think Group A was an easy group just with how Envy decided to show up. I don't really know where their mindset was at this weekend. Like Envy, they were in our discussion and everyone's discussion of being a contender for number one in the world. You go 1-2 in groups, and one of those losses. Look, if you get 13-0, you should be eliminated from the event. I don't care how many matches you have left in groups.
That would be a badass rule.
I don't. If the Center Ring ever hosts a tournament, maybe one day we will. You have my word. If you get 13-0, you're done. I don't care what part of the bracket you're in. I don't care if it's
is automatic elimination.
You are done. A 13-0. We haven't seen a lot of those in Valorant. Maybe like 1 or 2 in First Strike that I can think of. But
it doesn't happen at this level of competition often.
No.
Now, it did get pretty close, right? Like Sentinels.
I mean, it did happen in our show match. We did 13-0. Kevin's podcast. Not a big deal.
I mean, it was like a pro team playing an amateur team. It wasn't fair. These are two like top level teams playing each other. Sentinels 13-1 TSM in the first round, right?
Yeah, we almost saw 2 13-0s.
What's up?
We almost saw 2 13-0s.
Yeah, like I mean, and that's one matchup you would think you would never see it in. But yeah, if we're just doing like rankings from the season, like Sentinels is going to take it just because they also have like the history, right? We've seen them perform really well in the past. If you're asking me like who's number one on like today in the sense of just what we know from the last couple months, even let's say, it really is tough because these teams seem to like beat each other.
Yeah.
Right?
which
There's
I
no,
think
like,
is good. Like,
consistency.
I think that's healthy, right? That's one of the gripes we had about EU for the longest time is all you had was G2, right? Like you had
Yeah, until
G2,
the first strike finals, that's all you had.
right?
That is all you had.
And then a big drop off. So that was the knock on them. I like the fact that you have a potential 3 or 4 teams that could be number 1 in NA. And I love the fact that 100 Thieves came out of groups 3-0 and looked good against Sentinels. They lost, but still looked good. Because for me, personally, and I even said this, and I said it with Dust and everything, I was never sold on 100 Thieves in First Strike. Hell, even after they won First Strike, I was not sold on 100 Thieves. But now, okay, you had arguably the better teams in the world or NA, whatever you want to say, all the same. In this event, 100 Thieves were able to perform. So they're legit. Like
they're playing with confidence. They
right.
look good.
I'm taking ownership in it. I was not a believer early on with this roster, and they've definitely
like you weren't a believer
wrong.
with this new current roster that they have.
It just like they looked so. They didn't like dominate right off the gate in First Strike, and like some of the teams they were beating, like TSM, right? And it's like the whole meme of, oh, it was a fluke. It was a fluke. I was one of those. I was one of those. Yeah. It's a fluke. Like, you guys are a new roster, albeit of legends, right? And I guess maybe that's my bad. You know, oh, you're a new roster with Nitro on it, right? It's like, well, he is like one of the greatest CS players of all time and in any history. So I don't know if you can just chalk it up to a new roster. So my point is I was one of those in the camps of, oh, it was a fluke that they got through the first time at First Strike. But obviously I was wrong.
Yeah, and I think they're here to stay. They'll be the real deal. I think a team that I have more worry about than 100 Thieves, and not because of this tournament, because obviously we just saw them, we've seen them perform well, is TSM. Like, TSM is like very inconsistent to say that they're like the best team in the world. Like, if you're asking me who's number 1, I can tell you who I wouldn't put there, and I think they would definitely be one of the teams I would put at the top of my list as an easy no, right? Like, they're not number 1. I think Envy would also probably, I wouldn't say they're number 1, right? Like,
right.
With TSM, it's just I don't know why, because they win a majority of their games. It's just when they lose, they can get manhandled a little bit. And you don't know if they're like not coming in prepared. Maybe they're feeling their ego after they come off of a couple of big wins and then they seem to slip up. But we've seen it now, like the tournament where they lost like back-to-back games against Dignitas. Obviously, we've seen it against 100 Thieves. Now we see it against Gen G and Sentinels to get 13-1. Like, this is your last tournament of the year, and that's how you want to go out. Like, I don't buy that everybody was kind of fatigued from the First Strike event because, well, 100 Thieves just went 3-0, and you guys were in the finals. And there's so much shit talking going on in the Valorant scene. Like, I love it. Like, it reminds me of early CS a little bit, in the sense of like, just younger group, everyone trying to prove themselves. Everybody's more open to talking shit. No clear cut number ones. Like, it's awesome. And so to say you maybe didn't give it 100%, I don't buy, because right now your ego is like everything to ride on for these guys. So I'm a little worried about TSM more so than I am about like a team like Sentinels or 100 Thieves right now.
Talk about rivalries and people talking shit. 100 Thieves Sentinels, that's quickly getting up there to being one of the better rivalries between like Sinatra not backing down on Twitter. I absolutely love it. Now, he was and a lot of people I feel like if you didn't pay attention to Overwatch League, which a fair share of the people who also liked Counter-Strike didn't. So I don't blame you for not knowing it, but he was the same exact way in Overwatch League. He 100%. Was a shit talker. A lot of people didn't like him. Now, you also have to understand, he was signed when he was 17. He was too young to play. He was always supposed to be the chosen one. And so when he got, turned 18, was old enough to play in the Overwatch League and lived up to the expectations, became the MVP, became the champion, World Cup champion. Like, the fact that he was always supposed to be that way and lived up to it, the kid's ego is second to none. And he shows it, and I absolutely love it. The fact that like Nitro was getting upset at being teabagged, and then he's like, wait, people actually get upset about it? Like, I feel like me and Sinatra, first off, we have talked. I made him laugh. I feel like we are best friends. I gave a dad joke to him. He loved it. I think like we would get along really well.
More so than you and the FaZe guys.
Well, first off, you know me. I'm always phase up. Phase up when I wake up, phase up when I go to sleep. I brush my teeth with phase up. But yes, I feel like me and Sinatra would. Me and Sinatra would get banned together. We would not be
For
able
sure.
to stop each other.
Y'all would be pretty toxic together.
We would. But I
There's
would love
going to be an esports, the score, whatever the hell, I think it's a score. Whoever does like those, the history of, or like highlight, the highlight reels that they do. There's going to be a story of Sinatra when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Like, just what he was able to accomplish in Overwatch. Again, you said like a lot of people right now that are Valorant fans probably don't know that side of it. And it was huge. His impact was like massive and his come up was huge. And so what he's doing now is, he was a top rated player in this event. It's absolutely incredible though.
Yeah. It is a 30 for 30. ESPN 30 for 30. Now that Stephen A loves esports, maybe he can do a 30 for 30. He can be the narrator for Sinatra. So either way, very excited. I don't understand, and I'm not trying to call anyone out here because you know me. I love teabagging. Love it. I don't play any games without a crouch. That's what I always say. I don't understand how teabagging, though, is a reportable offense in the game, but the pros are doing it. Don't you think Riot would be like... Riot's kind of a stickler for being a killer of fun. Surprised they're not
but like
pumping the brakes on that one.
It's a part of the game. Like I know it's like I know it's reportable. I think it was Nitro that said something about it, right?
Yeah. Nitro was like,
Okay.
imagine teabagging and still losing.
Yeah, like with Nitro saying it, it makes a little bit more sense because I feel like the Counter-Strike Pro is a little bit more like a seasoned golfer, right? Like they've been
Yes.
around the block, they've made their money, they have their championships under their belt, they've been the big dog for a long time. They're gonna play with a certain type of etiquette, right? And that's also part of their egos, also with like the CS guys. The teabagging in Valorant seems to me it makes a little bit more sense with just how the scene is. Like I don't think any of them should be taking it personally, including Nitro. He should probably understand, look at your teammate steal. Like if you're going to be upset about teabagging, you should also probably be upset about some of the things he's kind of saying on behalf of your team, right? It still represents your team.
Right.
And so it's like that type of stuff. I just feel like it makes a little bit more sense coming from Nitro being in CS. But
Yeah.
really, I feel like it's not a big deal at all.
No, it's funny. It's awesome.
It is.
It's great to see.
It's a way to talk shit in game, right?
Yeah.
Like the emotes don't do it for you in that game, right? What is it? A squid going back and forth or an octopus or whatever going
Right.
back and forth is not like not intimidating, but
I
it's not
just-
a good way of getting
helps
your
build
point
up the
across.
storylines, right? Everyone needs a villain. I love it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Stewie when Stewie was new to CS. Now he's become old.
I miss that Stewie.
Now he's old and on liquid and he's all prim and proper. He like combs his hair and shit. No. I miss the Stewie, the old Stewie, the teabag Stewie. But yeah, so there you go. There is the JBL Quantum Cup. Shock to the system going from First Strike to this because obviously First Strike was catered from Riot and had the new UI and everything and it looked all fresh and cool, and this one had none of it. But it was good. It was a good event nonetheless. But boy, we definitely need that open UI interface thing for all Valorant events. All right, so there's that last Valorant event of the year anyways that I know of that you should probably care about. Let's get into some e-news because we have a lot to get to here. Looking here, we have in CS, Blast Premier Fall Finals wrapped up. So now we have the teams that are looking for the Blast World Finals, which are coming up.
Global, right?
What is it?
Global finals, I think.
Global Finals, World Finals. Gold
It's the
jacket, green
global
jacket.
world finals. Yeah.
Anyways, Vitality ended up taking down Astralis 2-1, but that does not stop Astralis from qualifying, even with the loss, because Vitality already qualified from winning the spring. So, there you have it. I guess it's just bragging rights at this point, but Astralis was able to qualify there. IEM talent has been announced. Yanko, former FaZe coach, is making his way back into the booth. As he is going to be back to analyzing, or is it analyzing, or is he calling the game with Machine? I know he's on the desk.
No, it's him, Sponge, and I wrote it wrong on there, but him, Sponge, and Machine.
Sponge and Machine are back together casting. Yanko is back analyzing.
He's like the third man on that team. Like he'll have another.
We're 2015 now, boys. 2015's back with Yanko on the desk. I like
him on the desk. I liked him on the desk. Yeah.
So there's no doubt. Hey, guess what? Go ahead.
I want to tell you one more thing. We didn't give it its due justice for the Blast Premier Fall Finals. I want you to guess, Tim. Another event. Who was the highest rated player coming out of that event?
Well, I mean, I would say Zywoo.
Close. Real close. If you were real close, who would it be?
Oh, Simple?
Yeah. Simple. They get 4th place, and he's still top-rated player of the event.
Get him out of
Zywoo's right there at number 2. It kills me to see this, because we're sitting here looking at it, and it's just, it's crazy.
Someone save him. Save that man.
I mean, he's the easiest number 1 in the world again this year for HLTV Top 20, right?
Yeah. But he needs to be off of Navi. Someone save him. He needs to swallow his pride, leave his favorite team of all time, his childhood team.
Go join Hiko on 100 Thieves.
And go win a ship. He just needs to leave at this point.
At some point, right? But they did at least qualify for the global finals. So that's, again, January 18th to the 24th. That's an 8-team event. You have a lot of teams to look forward to. We got Vitality, Astralis, Navi, G2, already qualified, along with Complexity and EG. So got the last 2 to round out here that they should be announcing soon. I think that's already locked in, but we'll let them bring that up. But it's at least going to be a fun $1 million event. It's going to be an 8-team event, and that's going to be a banger for the teams that are in.
I think as of right now, they are finding ways to make it a LAN. I don't think with a crowd, but since the teams are all in Europe, they're like, hey, maybe we can figure this out. Maybe we can at least get them in the same building to do a LAN.
So EG is not going to win it anyway, guys. Doesn't matter if they back out of the event.
They can back out, guys. Okay. We can replace them with an EU team that's probably better anyway, so just get them going. So Simple needs to take his talent to South Beach. That's what he needs to do.
He needs to find a new home.
Yeah. And then go back. But you gotta, for self-respect, Simple. And what might be the worst team name in esports? Extra Salt GG is the new org for former Chaos. Was it Chaos?
What is that team name, dude?
Did they sign Chaos? I thought it was... Was it former Chaos or former Cloud9?
I think it's former Cloud9.
Former Cloud9. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote it wrong in there.
All right.
Yeah. And it's still terrible.
Because I remember saying to myself when I saw that, we live in a world where former Cloud9 has a team, but Chaos does not.
Yeah. No, that's it's good for them. You'd love to see another org get involved. I don't know how big they are. I don't know who's running the org. I'll tell you what they already did wrong. Is that team name? That is a yikes. Tough. Extra Salt GG.
It's bad.
That's gonna be tough to brand, isn't it?
Extra Salt. They are a South African team, so that explains former Cloud9, right, with JT and Sonic.
Yep.
So that explains that, but it's still no excuse for Extra Salt being your name. That is a terrible name. Terrible.
Rough.
IM Katowice is still planning on being LAN, but announces there will be no fans allowed at the venue. Event is planned for February 16th through the 28th. We have come full circle. We've I didn't think it was going to happen, but we've come full circle. We are right back to where it all started.
Pasha should go back to the stadium and be the only one allowed in again.
It is super depressing, is it not?
That's crazy, dude. We were talking about this before the show, that how I had a COVID baby. We never thought in our wildest dreams that you would also be having a COVID baby like 7 months later.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is the fact that this all started with Katowice being the first event to kick out the fans, and we were like, well, that's preposterous. How can they do that? Then we're right back at it. It's rough. It sucks. And Gen G, right before the show started, announced Gen G is placing the remaining of their roster on the transfer list. Now, Anuj, you might be saying, well, okay, I guess it's done. Pump the brakes, okay? Let's give some respects to Gen G. This is not benching. They are not benching their players, okay? They're letting them be available for pickup, but they are not benching them.
It's not a bench. They're going to continue to perform in events.
They also want to make it very clear that this is not because of Valorant. This is not because of Valorant that they are ditching Counter-Strike.
Why is it then, Tim?
They just feel like it. It has nothing to do with that their Valorant team is like a top NA team and actually performing well and getting invited to big tournaments. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with the fact that where if you want to compete in Counter-Strike nowadays, you have to travel to EU. Has nothing to do with that. They want you to know.
At this point, dude, like, I'm ready to see Automatic in Valorant colors. I think that's like a given.
He says he's willing to go to EU though. So if Automatic is willing to sign CS with EU talent, there might be something there. Because you know who's on EU? Cloud9. 6-man roster.
Yeah, but well, that's true.
6-man roster.
You see him wanting to be a 6-man?
I mean, he wanted to sign with Gen G. If he's willing to take that money, I'm sure he'll be a 6-man on Cloud9.
Yeah, but at that point, he thought he was playing with, like, they were going to have, like, the Asian squad there, right? With Bintet, Automatic, Kusta, I think it was, who else was on that freaking team? They had another Asian on the team. It's supposed to be like the Asian persuasion team. Yeah. When Gen G came out, like, he'd be playing with a lot of his boys.
I think he probably thinks more highly of himself, but if he wants to stay in CS, like if he's just like that determined, like, no, I'm a CS ride or die, I could see him signing with the 6th team in Europe as a 6-man until he finds like a starting spot. I could see that. But
yeah, there's not many options, right? And maybe Liquid might be looking to make a change if things don't pick up for them. So that could potentially be an option to get him and Stewie back together again. There's just not many options.
I could see maybe someone picking up part of the Chaos roster and maybe adding him to that mix.
Yeah.
If you don't sign all 5 Chaos members and say, oh, I have a chance to pick up Chaos and Automatic, I could see that.
And if Chaos doesn't get picked up soon, those guys are going to start splitting up here.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I mean, so that needs to be done immediately.
I could see it working out to where he stays in CS.
I would like for him to.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making a switch because the money is there right now.
Well, enough of his boys have moved over too to where like they can call him up and be like, bro.
Dude, Sam and him were just on the same team with Gen G. That's the other guy I was thinking of actually.
Yeah, like it's worth it. Like trust us, it's not like I said on Twitter, like I made a joke on Twitter saying everyone thought Valorant was going to kill CS. Turns out CS is killing CS. And someone was like, well, Valorant just made a good second chance for all these old washed up Counter-Strike players. I'm like, that's what it looked like at the start. Not anymore. Like we are having top tier Counter-Strike players move over. So it's like, I would not say it's made second chances for washed up.
Few, right? Like there've been,
of course,
different circumstances for tier 1 type players. Have we had anybody from an actual tier 1 team step down to go yet? I don't think that's happened yet. And this wouldn't count, I guess, either now with the announcement, but yeah, for Automatic, I want to see him out there. Like I loved watching him play on Cloud9. It was so much fun, and he was so good. And I want to see him return to form, and I hope it's in Counter-Strike.
In Overwatch, Philadelphia Fusion have announced that they are relocating to Seoul, South Korea to compete in the Pacific Division for the upcoming season. Of course, this was supposed to be where, they weren't, right? They were going to be playing on the NA side of it. Obviously, the team figured, well, all their players and everything are South Korean anyways. Let's send them home. Let them be more comfortable. We're not doing home and away games. We're not doing home games in general. What's the big deal? Just send them home, have our players be happy and everything there. It's also been rumored that the Dallas Fuel are going to be in the same boat, where maybe the Dallas Fuel are going to send their players to Korea now that they have a full Korean roster and play there. We'll see.
That's it. I'm really curious to see how Overwatch handles this upcoming season. Like, I'm genuinely curious.
Let me tell you what, they need to figure this shit out now. Because they've already announced where teams are playing. So if teams are already changing their mind, if I was Blizzard, if I was the league, I would tell the owners, look, we're going to give you a date. You need to figure it out by then. If you don't, you tell your players to suck it up, and they're playing where they're playing. We're not doing this Vancouver Titans BS like last season.
Yeah.
We are not switching this up mid-season. You tell your players they're getting paid plenty enough to deal with it. And that would, if I were the league,
make them comfortable, right? Like, that's on you to
if
they have to stay, that's on you. If you don't figure it out by then, that's on you. So.
Yeah, and if you don't make them comfortable, if you pull a Vancouver Titans and they're living in concrete shoe boxes and the players decide to not perform well for you and suck, again, that's on you. But as a league, we need our product to be functional, and you switching it up 2 weeks into the season because your players feel homesick ain't the way to do it.
Yeah.
If I were the league, I'd put my foot down.
It's going to be a tough season, I think. I'm just really hoping for some news on either the second iteration of the game or some sort of big update to draw some excitement back. But it might be a tough year again for Overwatch without LAN. Yeah. I think LAN would help them significantly. It's a
LAN game.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've been to the events. The events are electric on LAN compared to other esports. So it is a shame. It's also a shame for Philly just in general, right? Because they were building that state-of-the-art center. Like, they were building their own stadium for esports and other
in the heart of all the other stadiums over there. It was a whole badass.
It was going to be legit, and then the plug's been pulled on that for now. So it's a shame how that's kind of turned out. In Valorant, lots to get to. Complexity partners with Nerd Street Gaming to host their own Valorant Invitational with 16 teams, total with 12 invite teams. That will be the first week of January. Vitality is jumping into Valorant. Say that 5 times fast. Is it Brams?
Yeah.
Brams will be the first player to join the team along with their head coach, Frag On.
That was reported by Nell, big CSGO kind of insider and
Frenchman.
He's crossing over to Valorant a little bit here.
No way.
He's been pretty anti-Valorant in terms
all
of
these guys are, dude.
Yeah.
All these guys are anti-Valorant until they realize where more likes can come from.
Yeah.
Not all of them can be like us, where we play both sides of the field. Cloud9 parts ways with their Korean roster. So that's not that surprising, right? We've talked about it before where Cloud9, they had 3 rosters. They had the boys team, the girls team, and the Korean team. Originally, it was all smart because it was like, hey, cover all your bases, right? Well, now with the new format coming up next year, everyone's assuming, because there was never really a good reason on why they ditched the team, but everyone's assuming with the championship series coming up next year, you can't have 2 teams compete up against each other of the same ownership, right? So they had to drop one. Obviously, they dropped the Korean team to avoid any conflict of interest next year.
They did drop somebody on their North American men's team as well, Tim. Shinobi, their in-game leader, was recently released, and that's a pretty big move. I mean, it's a little surprising, but we saw them tumble a little bit in First Strike and then get 0-3'd this weekend at JBL. So let's see who they... There's a spot for automatic right there.
Typical Cloud9 fashion, if you ask me. Very Cloud9 of them to come out of the gates hot in Valorant, and then to now do a roster change in 03.
Yeah.
Very Cloud9 of you. Auto ND joins Complexity as a loan from contract as well. And also in one of the most strangest moves I've seen as of late, Banks is leaving casting and desk host in CS. That Banks that you're thinking of, the British guy who you've seen host the Blast events, is now moving over to Valorant to become GM of Alliance as they're making a team. Alliance you might recognize from Dota.
Well, it's weird because I don't think he has like a Counter-Strike, I mean a FPS like hardcore background outside of casting, right? In the sense of,
yeah, I'm not familiar with his background, so maybe we're the idiots here, but not. I mean, good for him.
It made, I guess, Henry G and like seeing Moses and some of these guys go back into it. You know, Yanko made more sense because we know their history in the game.
Yeah,
obviously a lot more, and they were.
It also just depends too. Like teams treat GMs differently. Not every team is like Cloud9, where the GM is a true GM, and it's like, okay, Henry G, you have the keys to the car. Some GMs are truly just managers, and you deal with the players and travel info and things like that. So I don't know. His name was not what I was expecting when it comes to like a big signing with a team like that. It seemed like casting and hosting was his thing, but hey, good for him. In Call of Duty, what's this one called? Cold War. I was completely blanking. Cold War is on sale. So look, I know we said we were going to get it when it was on sale. Hopefully none of the listeners bought it thinking that we are going to get it, because I think that ship sailed.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to play Warzone when it comes out.
I think I'm just going to play WoW still. Just skip it all together and watch the Pro League.
We'll be watching the Pro League.
I'm excited for the Pro League.
Yeah.
Just don't. I'm sure it's a good game. Like Prong Attack says in chat, he likes it. I'm sure it's fun. It's,
I just couldn't get hyped. The timing was tough. I was too excited for WoW. It wasn't gonna work.
No. JCap, recently retired COD Pro, has announced that he is joining 100 Thieves to be their head coach. Cool.
They're becoming the...
or I guess LA Thieves. He's joining LA Thieves, not 100 Thieves, excuse me.
They signed Enable also. It looks like they're becoming the retirement home for COD players over there. So.
Well, with Nadeshot being the owner, it works out.
Yeah.
It works. It works out. Works out. In FPS news, Fnatic withdraws from the 6 Invitational Open qualifiers. In short, just due to traveling issues with COVID. They failed to qualify for the first time ever, so now they have to go from square one and qualify through the open qualifiers, and unfortunately have to bow out because it's just with how quarantining and relocating and all that works, it's not going to work out for them. So shitty situation that they're in, but there you go. In FGC news, Smash announced a new character at the Game Awards. Sephiroth will now be in Smash Ultimate.
I told my sister I'm getting my console back for a little bit. I will jump onto that to try out Sephiroth. For those of you that don't know, he was the antagonist in Final Fantasy VII. He is a badass, like in that sense. Like that's going to be a fun character. I hope they did a good job with this. If they do, I'll forgive them for what they've done to the Smash community. This is fun for me to play. So,
and that's how that works.
Let the sister know I will be needing that system back here pretty soon. And
Metagame has a new documentary out covering the gods of Smash. So, of course, this is the same director and producing behind Smash Bros. Is that what the documentary was called? The Smash Brothers?
The Smash Brothers.
The Smash Brothers. So, obviously, we loved that. So, I think over the holiday break, we will find a way to watch this if all the episodes are out by then, and find a way to watch it to review it on the show. Because I mean, first off, I didn't watch it when it was I was working. Listen, I love the documentary. Awful timing for your premiere, like Friday at like 2:00 in the afternoon. It's not the time to premiere something. Okay, some of us have to work, so that was a terrible time to premiere it. But I've heard good things, so I'm looking forward to it. And what else here? Oh, and last but not least, Envy wins back-to-back RLCS NA regional championship. So congratulations to them. Rocket League's still doing pretty strong despite COVID and everything like that. So congratulations, Envy.
Envy
picking
stacking
that
up that trophy case for 2020.
Yeah. Did you see the picture from Mike Ruffell, owner of Team Envy and Dallas Empire? So you know the trophy where it was like the MVP was sitting on like a throne for Call of Duty?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's like a real thing.
Yeah, the throne.
Like they sent him a throne.
Yeah. I knew they were they were talking about that the whole time. I'm actually gonna go look at this right now.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like a real, like they were going to get a life-size throne.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Don't know how that's going to fit in the office, but I have to imagine.
Bro, that would be my computer chair.
I'm sure he will find a way to do it. So good stuff.
Yeah, that's freaking cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff today, Anuj. Late start time, but we kept up the hype. We kept the effort. Episode 295 is done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening to the Center Ring Esports Podcast presented by Alt. 10 days of Christmas coming up tomorrow. As you're listening to this podcast, it has already started. So check them out, altesports.com. Check us out on Twitter at the Center Ring. Our link to Discord is in the description there. And our website, tcr.gg. We will be back Thursday, recording Wednesday. So check us out. We do it live on Twitch and YouTube. Talking about something. I don't know what, but we'll figure it out. Prep for the Timmies as well. That's next week, the Timmies Esports Awards Show. Next week, mark your calendars, the 23rd. And yeah, that's it. For Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see you next time.